Welcome everyone watching this call. The intention of the call is to give you an introduction to the project that we're working on, BORGO Batone in Tuscany in Italy. Thank you for taking the time. We hope that this call answers many questions. Few will probably remain unanswered, and for that I just want to point you to the onboarding office hours Monday and Friday, 3 to 4 CET. You will find the phone number on the website, and also the info and Nina @borgo-batone.com is the email addresses that you can send questions and, if you'd like to connect with one of us currently we're on the call, you find all the team, the core team that's developing the project, including a small part of our community. Thank you all for being here and just offering a little bit of time and share a little bit of your experience within the project with us. I'm gonna just do a almost ego perspective nutshell version of the project. Then we're gonna hear a few of the voices, and then we're gonna the community members are gonna say goodbye, and we're gonna offer the rest of the content. So that's the rundown of the call today. Before we start, we have a little video prepared that also includes music by a friend of Massimo and Nachisa that wrote this music especially for our project. So we would like to just offer that video to you. Take a deep breath, just relax, and just let you be walked through the village by that little video. Yeah, welcome back from the little video, the little walk around in the village. You've already had some visual impressions now, and I'm just going to start us off with a little presentation that we prepared. By the way, my name is Nina. I'm part of the core team. I'm going to run part of the show tonight. But I'm going to introduce the rest of the team as well. So here we go. So this is an image that we took Easter this year, and it just shows beautifully how the village really is tugged onto that little mountain there. 15 minutes outside of Lucca, in Tuscany, Italy. We have, there's 17 buildings in the Borgo. So the project, really what we're about to do, or what we're in the middle of doing, is revitalizing, re-enlivening this little magical old village that is completely empty at this point. We're doing that using or prototyping a space sharing and community ownership module. So we're in the process of setting up a cooperative that's going to organize all of that with us. And at the side, we're going to have a small rental business to rent out the space that is not used by the community. There's a beautiful, well-known and successful module in Italy called Albergo Diffuso that centralizes villages that are co-owned. It's 17 houses, 55 rooms, and surrounded by 25 acres of land. We do have a beautiful spring, like a well that arrives at the center of the village. There's also a pool, like you saw on the earlier photo, and a little chapel up on the right there. Again, all houses are empty. Ilaria is going to share a little bit more later about the history of the village and how that came about. And some part of the village is already lovingly and really to high standards restored by the current owners. So that basically that applies to mainly the villa, the central villa, and a small amount of other buildings that also provide almost like the visual aesthetics of what we're gonna aim for. Not so much in quality, that is really majestic, but more in terms of the care for detail and the orientation on traditional handicraft. The village can host between 80 and 100 people per night. And we're imagining sometimes we call it like a beehive of art events, workshops, of, co-working, of a community working with the local lands and the wine and the olives, a community for, to meet friends, a place to meet friends, for, good old holidays as well. And here is the core team. And I'm just going to give us a short introduction. And those that I'm naming, you can do a little wave of hand. Let me also say something about language today. We're recording this in English today. We also have a German and an Italian speaking InfoCall online. And those are usually recorded by those who are most comfortable in those languages. So some of us are going to run the call today, others are going to run the call in Italian, and again, others are running the call in German. So you will see some of us speaking and some of us rather just being present here today. So Patrick is the head architect of the project. He runs a communal living architecture office. Oh my God, I don't know whether that's proper English, but anyways, I think that's and Patrick is also really passionate about building villages. And then there's Katrin, who's Patrick's partner. She's a storyteller and works in public relations. Her and I are doing a lot of the communication, internal and external, together. And then there's me. I'm mainly in charge of the onboarding process and the community building, and also very excited about regenerative cultures and regenerative places. Then there's my partner, Mahmoud, who's doing most of the finances, legal, and startup issues in the project. Nachisa, who's the creator of everything visual that you see here, except the photos, but all the visual design that you see. And she's also fluent in Italian and plays a really important role in terms of connecting to the local community and the current owners. Then there's Massimo, who's the photographer and videographer on the team, as well as the head of the Italian company, the SRL that we founded. As a natural Italian, he's also a big part in connecting us to the local context. Then there's Ollie, who does everything digital, creates the app, and is kind of the structure mastermind behind that helps us kind of put everything put all the ideas and vision into a funnel of procedure and structure. And then there's Ilaria, who's the Italian architect, specializing on restoration in Italy. So, and who did a lot of the makeup camp organizing that happened just a couple of weeks ago. All right, that's the core team. Not to forget a couple of others who are supporting the core team with key competencies that I'm just going to name you all in one group, who are part of the community. Some of us, some are here today, and yeah, very grateful for a very lively community. And then we usually like to start this presentation also by mentioning a few things up front, and those go along the 4 questions that you see here. One question that we find helpful to clarify is the question whether this is an investment project, and our answer there usually is a yes and. Yes, we're investing money into an infrastructure, and we're also investing money into something that we believe is not only future oriented, but also future responsibly. We're investing our hearts and minds into building a community, into reviving a place, into enlivening a old structure, into conservation versus tear apart and build new. Yeah, for us this is a way of acting regeneratively. So we're investing in way more than infrastructure, and we're also looking at return of invest in a slightly different way. Is it a cheap holiday? Well, if you come to the BORGO as an external guest, you're going to find local prices for what you're renting. Usually people don't come to us for a cheap holiday just because investing in a village gives you way more than, just the one-time holiday or the one per year holiday. Do I get a holiday home to myself? Well, you get a village to us self. Maybe that's probably not proper, but anyway. Like all of us that are part of this project basically can rent whatever is suitable to us. One of us might travel to the BORGO, next week with another friend or a family member only, and then you might just want to book a double room, and then in a couple of weeks you might want to bring your whole family or have a family celebration next year and book half of the village, or you're booking according to your needs versus you have your one fixed home. We're going to say some more about how much it costs in terms of shares and contribution and things. What I do want to mention now here is that we're running this project rather professionally, as well as in, like, there are people involved that contribute their professions to this project. And we also really we care about this project coming into life and running as smooth as we can. So there is project development costs involved, and everything else about costs later. So I'm going to stop the presentation here for a moment, just in this moment where, you know, we have a general overall, like a little bit of a nutshell maybe idea now. And before we go into more of the detail, we would love to invite some of our community members who made time today to join us, just to share a few breaths, as we like to say, of what it's been like for them to be part of the project or the community. And Patricia, is it still a good idea for you to start as you're hosting your Yeah, great.
Wonderful. Yeah, because I said before I was babysitting the granddaughter 6 months, so I might be a little bit in time pressure. But yeah, lovely. I'm glad I can be here and share a breath, as Nina said. What's the first breath? Perhaps thank you, Nina, and all of the team. And I have to say, it's really funny. I've been involved in the community for about a year. I haven't met anybody in real person, but over the info calls, I feel there has been built a connection. And that is thanks to you and the nice way of facilitating our meetings and, yeah, all the activities that go on. Well, I suppose those who are listening right now, you're asking yourself, why would somebody join the community? Why would you do all this? And in another conversation, somebody said it was love at first sight, because it's just, to me, it's magic pictures, a magic location. And I can even top it. I haven't been there, but in 2 weeks' time, I'm sort of on my way going there, and I'm really excited about it. So how can I mean, the pictures and the film and everything is magic, but that could be a bit superficial, perhaps. But I also know the area. I know Lucca, I know Viareggio, and I have a link to that area. And when I knew about came to know about the project, this was, somehow not a coincidence. So I felt strongly attracted. And then with a lot of my critical mind, but also so much, nice, meaningful conversations, a nice approach. And I had been thinking about, this is my last breath, well, hopefully not, the last statement. I had been thinking of, could me, my partner Gerd, and myself, find a holiday home, perhaps, because we have the strong link to the region. But then we thought, this is not really what is 21st century. I mean, we won't use it that much. We are involved in our jobs in Munich and so on. We can't be there all the time. We have the granddaughter in Holland. Anyway, so I was also as much attracted by the idea of the community, of a cooperation, of a cooperative, of trying to make it more sustainable and share it with other interested people. So I stop here, because otherwise I spent the whole night talking. Thank you. This is all from me.
Yeah, feel free to jump off anytime you need, right? With you. Yeah, okay. And maybe let's throw it somewhere. Anybody ready to catch the ball? Just unmute yourself and jump in. Caroline, great.
Yes, I would take off the ball as well, because I have my 2 little ones as well, and they are binge watching now. Yes, hi, I'm Caroline, and part of a family of 4, and we joined a few months ago. without ever being there, just because we fell in love with the concept of not owning something just yourself, but share it. And we are convinced that this is a more sustainable manner and fashion of using the resources we have on this planet that are obviously limited. And we were totally convinced of the work the core team is doing. We felt they are very much ahead of many aspects. I think by nature you cannot be in all details at that point in time. But we felt they have all the nailing questions. They look at it in a very profound and professional manner and fashion. And that is what convinced us. So the concept and the core team, and we are excited. In a few days, we will step by, and I'm sure we will be convinced of all the magic that we have as well seen and experienced by the pictures and the movie. So that would be my breast for today.
Thank you, Caroline. Have a great time when you're there. And I saw Thomas unmuting before, so maybe Thomas, we're going to throw it over to you.
Okay. So yeah, the same what Caroline said is also a reason we and my wife joined this community. And what's for me, it's very important, beside the beautiness of the place, is the atmosphere. When I was the first time there, after 5 minutes, I forgot all problems of our planet and the world. And it's a very special feeling there. And I felt like beamed 100 years back, because it's this old Italian village. And I felt in love really immediately. Okay, yeah, that's what I can say.
Thank you, Thomas. Who wants to jump in? Silke, you, great.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe I can follow up on this, because I am in BORGO BATONE right now. And so the good thing here is, so Nina said that the villages of BORGO is totally empty, but it's not empty right now. But here are people who want to get to know the place, and it's just great. So I just came here to join the meeting, and for this I had to leave the very nice coffee table. People made a cake, and we were sitting there, and I had to go to join the meeting. I hope they will still be there when when we are done here. So it's a really nice atmosphere. So also the people are really nice. For me, the same is true. So my partner Anne and I, we joined a couple of months ago, and I met everyone so far only via Zoom. So today, the first time, I also saw some real people, and this is also very nice. And we had a little walk through the BORGO, and yeah, you can see that in this, so there was this makeup camp, and you can see that some of the rooms are really nice already. You can also see that there is still a lot of work. So I think this is also important for people to know that it's not ready yet, but there is work to do. But with every building, I think you can really imagine what is in it. So there are some places more for the community, some others more for also to separate and to be on one's own. So I think there are a lot of really very nice opportunities in this role. That's my first impression.
Thank you, Silke. Who's taking over?
I'm taking over, if that's okay. Well, I just, I think your optimism, your enthusiasm, and your engagement is so infectious that I'd like to join you. And, going along together, working together, living together for a while, and, bringing in ideas from different people, helping hands from all over. I really like this, apart from my love to Italy and the language.
Thank you, Claudia. Inge.
Okay, hello, my name is Inge, and a lot of things has already been mentioned, but me and my husband, we live in Potsdam, and we become members of the BB community last November, because we were so fascinated about the idea when we heard about the initiative that we join a project where we can realize something really great, but what would be not possible alone. So like the revival of an Italian old city. Yeah, this is one thing. But actually, it's also very important for us to we have been attracted to the idea of having a place where we can meet family, meet our kids, meet friends, or just go there for work away from the daily routine and not being alone. So always being there, very uncomplicated with other people, cook together, sing together, and do something like this. And new things always can come up if you're together. So, but yeah, we've been to BORGO Batone last April. And even if we came from Potsdam, it was super accessible by train, which was a requirement for us. Great. When we've been there, it was even more beautiful at the pictures we told us. And I have really intense feelings about the mornings when I sat on the front porch of, I guess, the Casa Gabriello, and had the coffee and had this beautiful view over the village. Yeah, special. Thank you.
Thank you, Inge. Anna, you get the last word. Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn. Nice. So thing is, me and my wife Janine, we joined the community from the very beginning. We had this dream of a place to marry again, and had a vision of a place, and then BORGO Batone plopped up or whatever, and it was exactly what we were looking for. She went there a few months before me, so in May, and was part of the build-up camp, whatever. And I was so jealous because I couldn't come with her. I had to work in school. I'm a teacher, and then as soon as I could, I traveled down there together with Janine. We live in the north of Germany, so it took us 2 days traveling by car, 12 hours every day. So we were in the car for 24 hours to get there, but it was well worth it. Absolutely. I experienced things I had forgotten about. For example, after 3 days, wandering around the hillside and the woods behind BORGO, and like having time to myself and like really calming down, I started to feel bored, and I didn't know, I had forgotten about this feeling because I'm like a mobile whatever. Also, I'm a teacher, so I'm not really ever private. And then once suddenly I had to come to grips with myself and so, okay, what are you doing now with your time? And it was great. And then I started looking around the village and trying to find something to do. And then that was a great feeling. And I was wandering around that place, and I saw opportunities like in every corner. There's so much, I don't know, I've got so many ideas just after being there for a week, what can happen with all the houses and what we can do there. And also it was a really interesting experience for me to live together with other people and having to share a kitchen and eating together under a big walnut tree next to the pool. And every day somebody else was in the kitchen team and cooked for the rest. And that was really, really nice. And also, if you don't want the other people, you just go somewhere else. There is enough space where you can just be to yourself. At least at the moment, I don't know what will happen in the future, but I'm really looking forward, and I'm really looking forward to being part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
thank you, Anna.
Were my 5 cents.
Yay! Thank you, everybody, for taking the time and for being here. I'm we, you can call it a day right now, maybe, and just log off here. Thank you for coming on. Have a great evening, and we're gonna record the rest. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Much love to the BORGO. Ciao.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, Ilaria, I'm gonna throw it over to you now, and bring on the presentation again to take us a little bit into the history of the project, but also the architecture side of things. All right.
Yeah, what we see here in the presentation are some of the pioneer projects that were made by the Office of Patrick, AGM Architekten, here in Munich. And what is in common with Borgo Batone is a bit the idea of the importance of the shared spaces. In the first one, in the first project on the left, we see a conversion of an historic farm into a meeting room, into a seminar house. And here there is also the connection to the topic of the restoration and to reusing an historical building and to find a new purpose for it. In the middle project, we see a project in Munich. In this case, it's a housing project where the very important aspect of it was again to prioritize what the shared spaces were and to minimize the private spaces and to give more space to the community. On the right, instead, we see Mehr Leben. That is, we can say, a similar project to Borgo Batone, even though this is a completely new build project. And in this case, there are houses that were built as holiday houses. And even in this case, there are some spaces for the community. So the idea, again, is to provide space and opportunities for the people to meet and to interact and to share activities. Okay, now we can go on a bit with the story of the project. We heard the stories of the community, the people that shared their experience there, but the story of the project itself started a tiny bit more than 1 year ago, in June 2021, when Katrin, Patrick, Massimo, and Narcisa went to visit Borgo Batone for the first time. And as also the community said many times, it was love at first sight. They literally fell in love with the place and they wanted to do something with it. And they had the idea of building a community and to buy it together in order to be able to develop a project together. So they started immediately right after, when they were back in Munich, to build a community. And as we heard, there are people that started, that became part of the community straight from the beginning. So there were events that were off and online events that were organized in order to collect the people. And this led to the foundation in December of the Italian SRL, that is like a company that is the company that is going to buy the town. And in December also, the preliminary contract was signed with the owners, as we see in the second picture. So basically, there was a deposit of 160,000 euros was already paid. So we were already able to collect so many members that we were able to already pay this deposit. That was already a big achievement that we reached last December. And with the new year, we kept on expanding the community and we organized other events online, for example, the InfoCalls, like this one that we're doing now, in order to share the project and to give a bit more insight also for externals. And last Easter, we went there and we had like an encounter with also the municipality and of Pescaglia, where the Borgo Batone belongs to, the town where it belongs to. And also in this case, a very big event was organized in order also to connect with the community of the place and the people that lived there. and to start having interaction also with the people, with the locals, with the people that live there. And that was very interesting and very important for us to create this connection also with the place and with the people, with the locals. Further on, we developed also the feasibility studies with the business plan and the business model. And last June, we made this makeup camp, which was, we asked the community, without forcing them, but who wanted could go to Borgo Batone and start literally working on the buildings that were usable, so that we're not in too bad conditions, in order to start in the summer already to use the town and to start making holidays there. And this, it went super well. So the people were super, they showed a lot of interest in doing this. They came and they worked a lot. And now that we're in the middle of the summer, we're actually using the town, as we saw also from some members of the community that are there at the moment. And also for external that are interested, they're coming and they're experiencing the town. And the next appointment will be in December, when the idea is to buy the town. So the appointment for the purchase will be in December. Here we see a bit of the architecture topic and design. In this picture, there is a photo of Il Leccio. That is a tiny town at the end of the village, which was already restored by the previous owners. And that serves a bit as an example of what we think of doing. So the idea is to leave the town in its identity and to reuse the buildings respecting their history and their identity. So here in Easter, last Easter, we showed some materials and stuff that we will see in a slide, in 2 slides. So maybe we can go on and then I will show them what we did there. The restoration process will be a gradual process. What we already did now, as I said, the makeup camp, of which we see some photos on the right of the members of the community working and fixing windows and doors, is just a part, of course, of what has to be done. There is many buildings that still have to be fixed. And but already from these makeup camp, we managed to enhance the capacity of the town of about 17 more places. So it was already a big achievement. And the ideal full capacity of the town will be around 100 beds when the whole process will be over, when the restoration process will be over. And in this process, it's also very important, as I said, to have connections with the locals. In the photo on the left, on top on the left, we see already some interactions with engineers that come from Lucca and that have already worked for the previous owners. And we see the structural engineer and another engineer that will help with the subsidies for the finance and for the ecological financing of the project. And so the idea is already to interact with these other engineers and locals to follow the process in the most logical and respectful way. As we said, there is still much more to do. The idea is to do the restoration in different phases. And what is very important for us is to be able to already use the town. So in the future years, a part of the year will be dedicated to the works. And ideally, this will be autumn and winter when it's cold and less people will want to come to make holidays. And the summer months will be left for the community to come to make holidays and also for externals, for external renters. In this way, we're going to be able to already live the town and to also learn from our mistakes in case there will be, and to adapt the process of restoration to what the needs are. And also for this reason, we're going to start by restoring the buildings that were already houses, because they're in better conditions, and because this is going to it makes more sense because it's gonna be easier. And in a second phase, we're gonna be working on the rural buildings that are in a bit more bad condition, but these will come later also with the experience that we will have gained by restoring the previous buildings. And slowly in the course of in the course of some years, we will be able to finish the whole process and to restore the whole town. As I was saying before, here are some pictures that we took in Lezzo, the tiny house at the end of the village, where last Easter we brought some materials so that the participants could already grasp an idea of what we wanted to do. For us, it's very important to work with ecological materials and sustainable technology. For example, on the right bottom corner, we see a picture of what seems like it's a heating system. It's an infrared heating system. It's not very maybe clear from the picture, but it's a new system for heating buildings, and the idea is to use these technology. And on the top photo, we see pictures of some samples of clay plaster. So again, using natural materials that can relate to the history and respect the nature and the environment. Okay, I give you.
Right. Thank you, Ilaria.
Thank you, Ilaria. Yeah, thank you for listening. As you heard about what we are intending to do, so in order to reach that, we have budgeted 6.2 million euro, and we will be hoping to receive also subsidies. The purchase price for the entire village is 3.2 million. And there will be additional costs to the purchase, and we will be having some smaller budget in order to start the first renovation and things that are needed to be done within the project. So at this stage of the project, we invite you to become part of the community by purchasing 5 shares. Minimum. One share is 10,000 euros. And once you purchase that, the process will be explained by Nina. So you will be asked to transfer 10% of this amount, which is the so-called the amount that we are risking into the purchase, where you saw at the beginning we paid to the recent owners 5%, which was 160,000 euros. In order to have the right to buy it within the time that we have agreed upon. The other part of the 5% is for the project development costs. So that is the money in worst case, if we will not be able to buy the village, which we don't hope, and in that case, this money will be gone. So how do you intend to reach this project to the place and to the vision we are intending to? So the community you have seen, so that's the shareholders, the people, some of them who you listen to, and we are also part as well, shareholders, as we are team members of the Team BB. So these are the owner of everything. So that is the basis of everything. So we are the ones who will be becoming also part of the cooperative. We will be shareholders of the cooperative. In order to have to reserve the right of purchasing the land and the village, we, as previously was said by the history by Ilaria, so we funded a company, SRL. It's a limited, and in German we have a similar pendant that's to that, which is called GmbH. So this liability company was established in December, and we reserved the right to this. And the company was also needed in order to just run this process of all the service and feasibility study and everything, and that we are able to be there. So in order to run the business down in Borgo Batone, we are in the process of registering within within Italy our cooperative. In order to do that, you have to have a what is called Verband. Good. A network. So a network or pardon? What is it?
I think association.
Association, right? The association or cooperative. So there are many cooperative organized there. So that is in southern North Italy, South Tyrol. So that is where we will be registered. And this team you see here, Team BB, is the ones who are doing the work for developing the project, and that is the developing team. Okay. So beside the numbers, so we have defined for ourselves kind of principles, kind of directions as goals in order to achieve the economical goals. We have to, as mentioned before, we are co-owning a village. In order to run this village, to keep it alive, we ideally have a best way of utilizing the capacity that we have available, either by living ourselves there, doing our vacation. In case we are not able to do so, we will be giving the right to others, either external guests or other co-owner, to use these shares. As Nina mentioned at the beginning, so we are investing in a long-term investment through our interactions or into our restoration of the village. We assume an increase of the value of the village, and so in the longer term, a good return also on this invest. As mentioned before, we invest a bit more into money dimensions. One dimension of the economical part will be this. So the purpose of having a cooperative is to deliver services to your shareholders, and that will be the purpose of us as shareholder being able to have to rent the BORGO, or for us apartments or rooms for a fairly fair prices. The money you invest, we intend to use that mostly primarily for redeveloping the village, and hope to have different programs by inviting foundations and others to co-invest in programs that we are having, and to support us by getting compensation to the running costs of the village. The shares you're having, that will be explained by Ollie. So that is how we translate the shares into batones. That will be explained later. So either you use your batones by yourself, or you sell it, or you give it to someone else to use it in order, as mentioned at the beginning, to utilize the capacity of the village. I guess that is my part. Ollie, now you go to how can I rent or use my shares?
Hi. Yes. To organize all the things what we heard before, we need a kind of concept, and we need to break down all our needs to the most the most single point, or to the slowest unit that we have to distribute or to provide. And these are our batones. And we have to create a back office to support you as a holiday maker and as an investor. And when we have a lot of different variables. For instance, we have a lot of houses, we have apartments, we have rooms, and we have different seasons. And then we have a lot of shareholders with different shares and so on. And our task is here to distribute the points and the batones to the shareholders in a fairly way. And so when we create categories for each room, and give all these categories points, and so each room has different points called batones, And we created also for each room a kind of calendar. So every day in the year has a different value. When we put all these points and all these batones together, we have a kind of pool of batones. And this pool is the summary. This pool is the pot that we have to distribute to the shareholder. Each shareholder with its shares have a part of this batones. And then when we want to make holiday and when we want to book our holiday, we just have to look in a kind of calendar on an online platform, and then with our account we have the ability several amounts of days and to book these days. And so this is very fair, because a room, a very basic room in spring is cheaper, has less batones than, for instance, the room in the Villa Basotti in the high season with more batones. And so everybody can decide what he or she makes with their batones. More holiday in spring or in autumn, or less holiday in high seasons. And so I hope we have the best kind of occupancy in the during the whole year, and because family uses more the holiday time, and for instance other people with has adults as childs, or don't need to go to do the holidays, they can use the parts in the off seasons. And this is one thing to support you to in a kind of booking platform in an app. The other thing is that we have to bring and have to create a transparency to you as a shareholder and to you as an investor. And so we have a different part in this app, what we want to create, where we combine some figures, some plannings of liquidity or of business plan in comparison to operating costs and earning, so that you have a kind of status over BORGO BATONE without to ask someone. All is in your app what you have to know, and that's what we want to do, to optimize the processes, to digitize as much as we can do, and to use modern systems and back office and cloud data and so on, to provide external systems to connect accounting information of bank accounts and so on, to use modern techniques. And that's all for you to that you have a good time in an old village. So when you are there in this village, you don't have to look in your app. Everything is clear, everything is done, and you can do your holidays, and you can do relax on the pool and so on. Yes, that's what.
Thank you, Ollie. Yeah, thank you for your mastermind here. All right. So we're heading towards the final few slides, and I'm just going to do a real brief run through here. In terms of community, I do want to mention one thing, because also people ask us, like, who is the community? And like we're a European community. Today you had mostly German speakers here, and English speakers, but we're
Italians too.
and Italians, of course. So Italians, French, Swiss, Austria, Germany. That's most of the community right now. And then there's a good amount of families with younger children, and then there's also a good amount of really very different other constellations like mother and son, friends, people that own by themselves only and want to come and make art, and others again that want to offer seminars and workshops. And there's a very colorful community.
And
right now
also animals are welcome, kind of, and diversity, right?
Yeah, dogs are welcome. Maybe other traveling animals. I don't know what people travel with, but let's see what we get to learn. So we're aiming at about 100 parties. Currently, we're 67 shareholders already. There's an onboarding process that I briefly want to mention here, which is having listened to an info call and then having, clarified your main questions. The space to do that is the onboarding office hours, Monday, Friday, 3 to 4 CET. Currently, there's a phone number there. I might offer a Zoom live, Q&A. You will find all that information on the website. You will also find a downloadable profile that we ask you to fill out and send us. And the next step then is an onboarding call, which gathers parts of the community, parts of our team, and interested parties. And after that, both sides, like the newly interested and the community plus team, we both have a moment, a day or two of just feeling into whether we're a match. And then usually you receive a yes. Mostly you receive a yes. And everything else after then, you will sign a, is that a letter of intent? Declaration of intent, maybe that's the English.
Right.
Yeah. And then transfer a first amount, and that's it. That's the onboarding process. Another thing that I do want to mention is that we like to operate inviting a lot of diversity of what people want to contribute and how people want to contribute, or if at all. Some people might really just want to hang out at the pool and be on holiday, and others might be really interested in taking a position in the cooperative or gardening on site, or bringing skills of building into the project, or any kinds of
anything,
yeah. So there's space for that, and none of that has to be. We're working again. We're using the cooperative ways of being structured as a community, and one thing that we have introduced is the so-called tablo flatino, which is the long wooden table where we, at this point, digitally gather every around about 6 weeks right now. I also just briefly want to mention that we're intending to create a little bar / kiosk at the center of the villa. There's plenty of shopping possibility close by, some walkable, others with a short drive. The village is also accessible by train, as you heard before, and there's good internet now, and we're working on really strong internet. Massimo has a really good strategy set up for that. And the last bit that I'm going to mention, just with a few beautiful images, amongst the things that I've mentioned before, like seminars, workshops, and things, we also really want to stress the agriculture potential on site of olive oil production and wine, plus there's already a compost set up. There's a team working on forest gardening, and there is, just plenty of ways of relating with nature there that is already really enlivened. We have a local farmer that's ready to transfer his knowledge to us. And yeah, amongst the many things that are possible in the village, that's also one that I still want to mention. All right, here we are. This is the full presentation.
There's the message, right? Join us.
Yeah, there's a message here. Join us. Right. So I'm taking down the slides. Thank you so much for the time that you took.
Nina, for your very good job.
Thank you, of course. We will probably put more information below in the information box of this video. You will also find all the information that you need on the website. And we're strongly encouraging you to make a decision late summer, early fall. Because yeah, we're really headed towards the purchase of the village, and we're also offering a special price to people who are interested and who have been in touch with us about their interest to stay at the BORGO. So use the summer, even the late summer, early fall. September and even October are gorgeous months in Tuscany. And you can be in touch at nina@borgo/batone.com if you want to stay on site as well. All right.
Thank you.
Hope to hear from you. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.